Again, I don't think you necessarily appreciate, if you went out into the wider world of private equity, how much they'd appreciate what you're doing here. It's going to give you the ability to say, yeah, we bought this business over here and it was doing this, and now look, 12 months later it's doing that. And we bought that one over here and 8 months later it's doing that. Which in the world of investments and private equity is a very, very special thing. It's like a sort of, a superpower. You're going to buy businesses at a certain value. And how you reach that value, people say, well, is it like, one times revenue, or is it 2 times EBITDA, or how do you reach that number? Let me give you the real way of reaching the number. It's what they're prepared to sell it for and what you're prepared to buy it for. That's the real way of reaching the number. No one wants to hear that. Everyone wants to have the scientific, you've got these numbers and you put it into the calculator and that's how much the business is. But it's really what you want to sell and what I want to buy, and us coming to an agreement. So whatever that number is what you buy it for, okay? Now at some point in the future, you're going to have a group which is going to be very attractive to one of the larger acquisitive groups, or to an international buyer who wants to move into the UK, because there'll always be a demand for what you do. So there'll always be investors in what you do. So at some point you're going to sell it. Now the challenge is, if there isn't a big enough gap between what you buy it for and what you sell it for. Because if there isn't a big enough gap, you might end up selling it for what you bought it for. You might end up selling it potentially for less than what you bought it for. So we need to make sure the gap's big enough. Now let's take some very simple multiples. If we're going to buy a business for 3 times profit, we've got to be able to sell it over here for at least 7 times profit. Because that gap in the middle, a gap of 4, is going to be our uplift in value. Now, if you overpay, and this is the point I'm making to you, if you overpay when you buy the business, the gap is too skinny, which means that when you sell, you don't see the big payday you hope for. So we've got to get a big enough gap. So how do we make sure the gap is big enough? Well, we want to optimize the business, because professionally run businesses always attract more money. So that's implementing everything that you do in this program, making sure that those businesses are absolutely optimized. But then we need to be really good at the negotiation and the deal structuring, so we pay the lowest price over here. You're watching this because you're interested in buying a business. So get my business buying toolkit free of charge. 17 downloads, videos, reports, and my books as well, completely free of charge. The link is right below. The lowest price possible, okay? Because there can be a big difference between saying, oh, we'll just go along with what he wanted, to actually, let's try saying no a few times and see if we can get the price down. And it takes guts to do that. It takes guts to look someone straight in the eye and say, look, I know that's what you're looking for. We just can't do it. Let's work together to see what is possible. But if we can get that gap big enough, then, all of your Christmases have come at once. The second is validating the model. Now, this is a phrase, if you've ever gone after some external investment to grow your business, validating the model is essential. Let me explain what it means. So let's say your model is, we've got an existing successful business, and we're going to buy some businesses that have seen better days. They've been run down a little bit, retiring owner, they're unloved. And we're going to polish them up and optimize those businesses. You've got to prove the model that you can do it, and you've all got the tools to be able to do it, so there's no reason why you can't. And once you've proven the model, you are going to be in a really, really strong position when it comes to raising funds later. I don't think you realize at this point how strong a position, because what you're learning here in this group is going to give you the ability to say, yeah, we bought this business over here and it was doing this, and now look, 12 months later it's doing that. And we bought that one over here and 8 months later it's doing that. And you you will have the magic touch, which in the world of investments and private equity is a very, very special thing. You will have people seeking out your knowledge and skills on how to do this, because it's like a sort of, a superpower that you have. Again, I don't think you necessarily appreciate, if you went out into the wider world of private equity, how much they'd appreciate what you're doing here. So validating the model, if you want to then go and borrow a few £1,000,000 to speed up your acquisition journey, it's really easy to do that because you've got a model that's been validated.